Hi, I'm Matt, also known as the Swinglishman. I do ink and pencil drawings and post up videos of me doing so on this channel. In this video, I wanted to try something just a little bit different. So normally I do like a long time lapse with some music and everything of just me drawing. But for this one, as I say, I want to do something a little bit different. So the other day I found a really cool artist on Instagram who does similar style to me, but like way better than me. So like he uses like fine line ink pens and everything for doing sketching and all that kind of stuff, and doing cross-hatching and things. And cross-hatching is a technique that I really like. I think it's a cool technique and I'd love to get better at it. And fortunately for me, this artist, Tri.shiba, I'll put all his Twitter info, all his Instagram information down in the description below. He does kind of, every now and again, he'll post up a step-by-step guide of how he goes about drawing something. So for this video, I'll be doing one of his step-by-step guides on drawing an eye. So yeah, this is what this video is going to be about. So I'll show you his Instagram account, and then after that, I'll show you the step-by-step guide that I did, and I'll show you the video of me going through each of the steps. And along the way, I'll kind of comment on like what I'm learning along the way as I'm going through the guide. So hopefully this process of making this video will help me really understand the technique, and also hopefully impart a little bit of information to you, my lovely viewers. So let's jump on Instagram and I'll show you Tri.shiba's account. As you can see, his stuff is pretty damn amazing. So yeah, he does like a lot of cross-hatching, ink, fine line stuff, which is just absolutely amazing. Really inspirational. And then every now and again he drops little gems like this, and he has like, you know, kind of explaining things on different drawing techniques and inking techniques and things like that, and kind of like, you know, the process of going about doing his style of artwork, which is absolutely amazing. I don't know about you, but posts like this are just kind of like gold mines for me, for information that inspire me to kind of pick up the pens, grab the sketchbook, and spend like the next like week kind of working on everything that's been covered. So this is really, really amazing. And if we scroll down just a little bit further, we can see here, this is the step-by-step guide that I went through for drawing the eye. There's a kind of couple of introductory slides here, a geometric setup of the eye, and then this is kind of where I started. So I started with the pencil sketch and then worked my way through, I think, like 7 different steps of first drawing in, sketching in, and then inking in details and elements of the eye. And so, yeah, let's jump on the recording that I did of me following along with these 7 steps and attempting to come up with an eye that looks even in the ballpark of what this is, and I'd be very, very happy. So yeah, let's jump into the video and off we go. So I've got pencil in hand, blank page in front of me. This is kind of obviously the worst step, is getting over the fear of putting down the first marks on the page, but here just kind of translating over the pencil sketch that Tri.shiba has in step 1 of his step-by-step guide. It's kind of, you know, playing around and roughly getting as accurate a shape as possible, and trying to copy across as much information as I can from his initial sketch that he's got up as step 1. There were some elements in the sketch, actually in step 1, which kind of, I'm assuming, were lines to kind of indicate the transition between highlight and shadow. So that's kind of like on the top of the eyelid, around here, and then also kind of on the side, on the lower eyelid as well, and a little bit on the eyeball as well. There's kind of like lines indicating, they're not like anatomical features, so I'm assuming it's kind of like transitions between light and dark in the picture. So I was copying all of that stuff across in the pencil sketch as well. And here we are, starting the next phase, which is inking. Starting off with all the inking. So yeah, started off with like the thickest lines first, just because I think they're probably the most forgiving. I can kind of like weave around a little bit, and kind of get the right shapes and everything. And I'd kind of done a little bit of warming up and like sketching around and everything before I did this. So I was kind of like, I was already kind of in the So I was already kind of in the zone of sketching and inking and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, but still, it's always a daunting thing. Like the first lines that you put down in ink, it's always a little bit of an obstacle to get over with. So yeah, there's all of the thick lines going down here. And then now we go on to adding in the thinner kind of like base level, I suppose. The base level of thinner lines that are going down onto the page. And this, I suppose, is to kind of set an initial tone, like a value for the eye, I suppose. This is my thinking as I'm kind of rewatching and thinking about, you know, the steps that we go through here. So it's kind of like to set like a base value, and then from there kind of like deepen and express more with the volumes. And one thing that like was tricky and takes a lot of concentration for me anyway is kind of these parallel lines running along and following the contours of different shapes, and getting those, like knowing when to have them even and when to have them spaced apart. That's something that I'm still getting my head around. And yeah, sorry for my head coming in. I completely forgot I was recording, and I was like super concentrated on getting these line spacings relatively okay and more or less in the right place, at the right angle, at the right thickness and everything. So yeah, I was doing a lot of going back and forth between the reference picture and also what I'm sketching in the book, which I suppose is normal. And then here, this top eyelid is kind of where there's already the expression of like a highlight there with kind of broken lines and like space between one side, the left and right side of the eye, so you can kind of see that there a bit on the top eyelid. And here, this is the next step now, whereby we're adding in like some more values, some like deeper values to express more, I suppose, volumes, and like transitions between different planes. So they're like it's like the lip of the top eyelid there, like adding in just a little bit of extra line weight there to, I suppose, to express like, okay, that is actually like the underside of the eyelid and is on another plane to the face of the eyelid, if that makes sense. And yeah, around the side of the eye here, kind of expressing thicker lines for you know, more shadow and expressing more of the volume underneath as well. And then yeah, stupid shoulder getting in the way. And then we have, yeah, the lines of kind of like the rest of the eye socket, and expressing that kind of like almost like pinching of the skin between the eyelid and the eye socket is quite tricky. And here's like, well, I was saying before, like getting your line spacing right. I feel like this part here above the eyelid, I think I got the line spacings kind of a bit wrong there, a bit janky. Wasn't as good as it should have been. Then I think we're on to the next stage already. So it's just kind of like deepening in values and kind of really like expressing more of the volume and like it's like adding depth, I suppose. So I'm just following along, and it's kind of like, I would have thought like if it was just me drawing and I got to the end of this step in the process, I think this is like step 3 or 4, I would have been like, yeah, I'm quite happy with that. But then Tri.shiba on his step-by-step guide has like another 3 steps after this. So I was like, oh man, there's still more like you could add to it. So it was really amazing to kind of go through that discovery process of like, okay, there's this little detail that gets added and this little detail that gets added. And so far, actually, there's no cross-hatching in the picture. It's just, okay, now here's all the extra adding in of cross-hatching and stuff. And I was surprised actually at the variety of line weights as well with the cross hatching. It's not just, previously when I've done it, it's just like straight lines using the fine liner at the thickness of the fine liner, but here he incorporates a lot of variation in line weights to express to really express the the shading, to really get a deeper shade and a more nuanced shape as well. And here on the top of the eye socket there, I think I really kind of cocked up with the cross hatching there. And that's the final result. Alright, and this is the finished picture of what I did following along with this step-by-step guide. And I have to say, I'm pretty happy with the results. I mean, it was just like a whole massive learning experiment. And I think had I eyeballed this drawing, pun intended, had I eyeballed it myself, I wouldn't have gotten anywhere near as good a results as this. So it was really great to see kind of like the initial pencil sketch as well. That was really good, and like the information that was in there in terms of transitioning from highlights to shadows, and then kind of going through just the different stages and like discovering each step was like really interesting. And so the importance of the line spacing and how the variance of the line weights plays a lot in terms of expressing value and shape and volume and everything. So that was really cool. And yeah, and kind of surprised at how many steps there were, and like how to really kind of, the last 3 steps I would have thought were just kind of more like fine-tuning what's already there, and that was really interesting for me, because if I'd have got to the end of step 4, I think I would have been happy with the picture. But I'm glad, you know, I followed it all the way to the end and kind of, yeah, learned a lot from those kind of extra little details to get it looking, you know, pretty good, pretty reasonable. And here we are at the end of this step-by-step guide by Tri.shiba, an amazing artist, and I've really learned a lot from following along. If you learned a lot as well, then by all means let me know what you learned in the comments down below. And if you think I deserve it, then why not like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As always guys, trust the process, be consistent. Peace.